Today, we are going to talk about the traits that we see in successful couples and how you can leverage those characteristics within your own relationship.
I am thinking back upon all of the weddings that I've physically seen in the last 13 years. When I'm meeting with a couple, one of my favorite things to do is to ask them about their proposal story. How did he or she propose? And was it a surprise? What did that look like? Were they someplace that was meaningful to them? And just really dive deep into that story or the story of how they met, because I think that tells a lot about a couple. And I like listening to the version. Sometimes the man's version is different from the woman's version. And I think it's fun to hear those stories, how they remember how they met or how they remember the proposal going, because sometimes when it's a surprise, it's like such a shock that they don't even remember what they said or what was said to them. But the first thing that I will say is that working in this industry gives me hope. It makes me a believer in love, and I know that it exists because I see it on a daily basis in my business. And a better industry to work in. I feel like every single weekend I work at Disney World, right? I get to experience their weddings and their love stories and document them, which is awesome. But there is someone out there for everyone. There truly is. And I am a firm believer in that. And so um, when clients come to us and I get to know them, immediately think to yourself, oh my gosh, they need to meet. So you're looking for that connection where the next person that you meet is going to think about how well you would connect with their best friend or someone that they work with. Honestly, it's the light in their eyes when they talk about their story, when they talk about their love story. You can just see it, the smile on their face when they recall something specific about their how they met or how they were proposed to, or when they talk about their wedding. They talk about their love story, not just about the physicalities of the wedding. It's about the personal vows that they're going to write to each other, the videos that they're going to share of their love story, things like that that really stand out to me when I'm meeting a couple.
So, you mentioned sometimes the men and the women's stories are a little bit different. I want to know how. Like, what are you seeing?
I think it's all about perception and those first impressions, like, oh yeah, I was all suave and debonair, and she must have just thought I was amazing the minute she walked in the room, and in her mind she's thinking he's like super awkward, but I'll talk to him anyway, right? And then that's when the magic happens. um, Overcoming those obstacles, and then yeah, you obviously clearly remember the moment differently because it was all in your head. It wasn't real until later. So I'd say that happens a lot. That happens a lot. And I also think this kind of goes back to something that we talk about all the time, Shannon, and that is, don't ever judge your experience based on one meeting. Really, you need to return to events, and it goes both ways, whether you're infatuated with a person or you think, oh my gosh, they're not my person, right? They're not for me. It can go both ways. Maybe you meet them a second time or a third time. One of our favorite love stories with a couple of our clients didn't really occur until they were meeting each other at their third or fourth event and realized that there was an attraction there that they didn't notice before.
Are there some consistencies between the couples that you observe during the wedding planning process that indicate to you that they may have a strong relationship?
Every couple is different, and we can sit in a meeting and talk about someone's wedding, and sometimes one of the parties is super quiet and the other one is telling everything. You can tell when it's forced or pressed, but other times when it's just how it is. It's natural with them. That's how they're comfortable. Like, she's the planner, I'm not, or he's the planner, and I would rather just sit back and watch him enjoy the moment, enjoy the planning process. So it's really seeing how they engage with each other. And sometimes they talk over each other, other times it's just one person. But also seeing the support of the partner at those things, even though they may not really be excited or engaged in the planning of the day, they're still excited about the day. And he's really bummed because he's missing fantasy football tonight, right? But he came out here because he loves me and he's going to support me, and so I think that's cool. I love to see that.
I love that. So I think if I'm summing up what you're saying is each couple is unique. So there's maybe not a guidebook that's out there that's going to make your relationship work forever. So you really need to seek out those things that work for you. Perception is not necessarily reality. And so give time for your perceptions, to pan out the way that they're supposed to. And that shared experience piece is something that those couples that you feel in your gut are going to be successful really share. If you got some value out of this, go ahead and subscribe to the channel so we can keep bringing you great content.